Greetings to everybody. Now we will continue on the 8th chapter, stanza number 9. For if I act like childish beings, sure it is that I shall fall to evil destinies. So why do I keep company with infants who lead me to a state so far from virtue? It is said that there are usually three kinds of child. One child is young in age, like our children. The opposite of old people, the child. They are, very innocent. They yet to grow up. But they have a very innocent mind. They do not differentiate. They kind of become friends very easily. They have no. They don't differentiate. Which caste, which creed, which race, which religion they follow. They are all equal. They are very innocent. So we are not talking about that child here. We are talking here about second and third kind of children. This is a childish, kind of a mind. Those people whose mind or whose intellectual or whose wisdom is not developed, who is deluded. Who is not enlightened, who is not, who has very little understanding of what is right and what is wrong, who is not learned, who is not wise. So those kind of child here we are talking about. So those people who are like that, those kind of child, ignorant, you can say uneducated if you like, not wise, ignorant, not awakened, those who are, kind of addicted to wrong way of life, and, that kind of child. If I act like that, if I become one of those children, or if I am influenced by those kind of people, which can easily become, sure it is that I shall fall to evil destinies. Then I will fall into evil destinies, because I will be, I will be influenced right then. I go their way. I'm kind of led into their way of doing things and their way of saying and their way of acting and reacting. So why do I keep company with the infants? So those kind of, it is very harmful to yourself and not helpful to them. So I should immediately understand very clearly what kind of company I am in or I fall into, and then I should make decision not to become one of them or get involved in that kind of company, because this will lead me to nothing good, not virtue, but into a very bad habits, negative path, and very harmful to myself and others. So this is very important to understand, that I should not get drawn into those kind of companies and get attached to those kind of way of life, and should not be influenced in this way. This is not to say, again, it's very important to understand this, that I have I try to kind of totally avoid being, even meeting those kind of people. I cannot have, I treat them as untouchables, I do not touch them, I do not meet them, I do not see them eye to eye, I do not become their friend. It's not like that. I can help them, I can become friends with them, I can actually even try to lead them to, positive way and state of mind. I can try to educate them and things like that. But I also should be very aware and very conscious that what kind of people they are, what kind of life they're living, what kind of state of mind they have, and what habitual tendencies they have. And then I should become very aware and determined not to become like that. This is, important. Now, why I should not get involved with this kind of company is the next two stanzas. Stanza number 10 and 11. One moment friends, the next they are bitter enemies. These kind of people are very unstable. This moment they are very good friends. You seem as if they are your best friend, but in next moment, they become your bitter enemies. They become very enemy, and they become very, angry and hateful. And, just one moment, just because one little thing that you do or don't do, they become, bitter enemies. That's one sign that these people are not your good friends. So you should avoid those kind of company. Even pleasant things arouse their discontent. Sometimes you try to do something good, something helpful, something to make them happy, but it will bring them discontent and unhappy. You can never kind of make them happy or content. Whatever you do, it's not enough, discontent. And these kind of people, this kind of very childish, undeveloped, we call it childish because they can also change, they can also develop, they can also mature. There is nobody who cannot change, who cannot transform, who cannot mature, who cannot be educated, but it is not easy, so you have to be very careful, especially if you are yourself, not very advanced and things like that. So these kind of ordinary people, there are lots of them, therefore it's ordinary people. It's hard to please them, And this is also something we need to learn, that, it is very difficult to please people, to please everybody actually, or even anybody, So when you know this, it's a very important thing to know, because, you feel that if you do something good, if you do something helpful, if you do something that would be, nice and helpful or beneficial to the people, they will be very happy, they will be very grateful, they will, thank you and be very, appreciative. But it is not always like that. And then, if you do something good and they don't react in a very appreciative way, you get hurt and you become very upset. You allow your mind to be completely disturbed, and then it's not good. And that you have to understand. We have to understand very clearly that most of the people, we cannot really make them fully happy. And that's not because I'm doing something wrong, but because there are lots of people who are like that, who are very samsaric, who is full of negative emotions, negative habitual tendencies, very unwise and very kind of immature. So therefore, it's very hard to please them. And so therefore, there is nothing we can do to completely please them. It doesn't mean that we should not help them. We should keep on helping them, but we should not expect that they thank you. This is what the Tibetan words for the Tibetans kechi chigin zanjurla yutsa jina daryanjur gavi nila toshepi susuchewo ngwarka susuchewo. Susuchewo here is translated as ordinary people, but Susuchewo is those who are not enlightened, those who are in the samsaric state of mind. Those are very difficult to satisfy or happy. Pember mina towarse dojo penli dobarse tedo ngana manyena toye ngendon wanjur. So this is the stanza number 11. A beneficial word and they resent it. You try to tell them something that would be very useful and beneficial and helpful to them, and you think that it will be they will be benefited with it. They will feel good about it. They will try to do according to that, which will help them, but actually they won't. They will actually resent you. They will become angry with you because you said those words. So you try to advise them to do something useful and helpful to them. Turning me instead from what is good. Not only that these samsaric beings, these immature beings, they will listen to your words of goodwill they are beneficial to them, but instead try to make me do things which is good for me and good for others, turning me instead from what is good. They not only listen to what is good for them and for everybody, but they also try to lead me to doing things that is not good for me and not good for others. Like many times, people who are like addicted people, like drunkards, and those who are like gamblers and things like that. Even many other. They not only themselves do those things, but they will also bring their friends. They force their friends to drink. They force their friends to gamble. They force their friends to do what they are doing and make them do the same. Turn them also to from what is good. They make them not to do the good things, but turn them away from doing good. And when I close my ears to what they say, their anger makes them fall to lower steps. And if I do not listen to them, if they try to influence me with in a bad way and try to make me do bad things, and if I don't listen to them, if I close my ears to what they say, what they suggest, or what they try to lead me, they become so angry, they become so upset, they become so hurt that actually it makes them fall into lower realms. It makes them even worse. So therefore, these kind of people, immature, very kind of childish childish kind of state of mind people, then it is, it won't be good for me to become, too much involved with them, and it will not even be good that I get too much involved for them. So therefore, I should be very, I should be careful, I should be aware, and I should be alert about them. So then, it is, I can't help them, and it was not helpful to me. Tola tato nyen donde, nyam donde, malanga jal, tuina te, menye jona kontuse, no yi sili pemba top, shidondo na sipali, doto yala mepato, korakabi tonosu, miki chichungi panjong. This is stanza number 12. Jealous of superiors, they vie with equals. Proud to those below, they strut when praised. Say something untoward, they seethe with rage. What good was ever had from childish folk? So these kind of what they call childish or immature or very strongly kind of samsaric folk, they are always jealous to people who look like better than themselves in one way or another. They always vie with equals. They are very competitive, and they kind of try to put down. They are, they are not friendly, but they are very kind of competitive and look as a competitor, or look them as your enemies to those who are in whatever way equal to you, and proud to those below. And if they see you or somebody as a little bit lower than themselves in whatever situation, and they become very proud. They look down and they become arrogant. They strut when praised. If you praise them, they kind of they go over the head. It goes into their head. And if you say something not so nice, or not always praising, but a little bit kind of untoward, or a little bit like advice, or a little bit like criticism, they seethe with rage. They become so angry, so they are completely, outraged, completely angry and unhappy. What good was ever had from childish folk? So this 12, the Tibetan Tola chado nyamdonde malanganja tuena te menyejuna kundushe namshi sili pemba tops. So from this kind of people, you never get really any benefit. Shidang runa shibali dotu yala mepato koragawe talasu megi chichung ye panchongus. The next stanza, 13th. Keep company with them, and what will follow? If we keep company with them, then what will follow? Self-aggrandizement, scorn for others, talk about the good things of samsara. Every kind of vice is sure to come. So if you get into that company. Now here, when you say company, you can have company in many different ways, Sometimes company is sometimes we say that the company is that you are staying together, you are friends, you work at the same place, you do things together, that's, and you are good friends. That's also one company. But sometimes, two people can be working together in the same job or same office, in the same room, but would be totally two different kind of people, two different kind of ways, not necessarily the company. They're sharing room, they're doing the same thing, but they are not in company. Sometimes they never meet each other. They're far from each other, but they can be in company because they are interested in the same thing. They have the same state of mind. They have the same, they follow. If somebody is saying this is this, he's somebody kind of writes or talks about his way of seeing his life, and you like that, you follow that, you become like that. That's also company. So therefore, it is important that you can become the company of someone who is living like thousands of miles away, and you have never met. If you follow that, then you become their company. So it is important to understand what kind of a company you are following. Oh, sorry, I think I've gone too far.